Champions League. The
Champions
Champions League
League,
is back.
Champions League, Champions League.
And I think we're in for a very exciting season. I think things are very up in the air. I think a lot of teams have holes, which makes it exciting because I don't, outside of City, we really just feel just a kind of step above everyone right now, to be honest. But I do feel like the rest of the field, it's kind of exciting.
It's up for grabs, yeah. It's up for grabs. It's unpredictable. It's unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Let's run through the groups really quickly. And as I run through the groups, let's pick our top two who want to qualify. And then after, we'll just kind of talk about the big teams and contenders on the whole. All right, Group A. And what the matchups we're going to see this week, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray. I will tell you this.
I can't wait to hear what you say here.
Listen, people, everybody who's watching this. Go look at that Galatasaray squad.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You may be a little bit surprised. Listen, Galatasaray is a massive club. Playing in Turkey is going to be hell for every team in this
It literally feels like hell.
Like hell. Flares, the fans are insane. I do think United will probably eke it out. Like I can see it being like United 8 points, Galatasaray 7. But don't be shocked if Galatasaray pull through in second place. And Ten Hag's boys are playing Europa League football.
So you have Bayern first, Man U second.
I have Man U making it, but barely in the end.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't blame you.
I have Bayern Munich winning the group. Galatasaray second. Galatasaray. Terence, who's my... Do I want to say this?
Mauro Icardi.
That's right.
I knew it.
Probably my top 5 favorite strikers over the last 10 years for me he's one of them. And since he left PSG and went there, his career is back alive. He's actually bagging goals at an extreme rate right now. I love that Terence said go and check their squad because their squad is thick. They got Ziyech from Chelsea and thing the other day. Like they have some ballers on that team.
I pulled it up. Let me read through some.
Please enlighten people because
here's who they have: Icardi, right? Came up from PSG. Davinson Sanchez from Tottenham.
Boom.
Demry Bay, who started for Leverkusen for years. He went to there. Angelino, who played for Leipzig, Spanish left back. Really good player. Bakambu, who used to be really good in La Liga for Villarreal years ago. Came from Al Nassr, actually. Keep going. Zaha from Crystal Palace when they were on a free. And Ndombele from Tottenham when they on a loan. And Hakim Ziyech as well. And I swear I'm probably missing other players. But the squad is...
That's a few. You literally just call a few of their players.
A few.
They have
experienced
big European players playing in a ridiculously massive club in a ridiculously dread environment.
Yeah.
I think Man U going to lose when they go to Turkey. And the reason they're going to come third is because I think they'll beat Galatasaray and Trafford. Right. But I think they're going to drop points to Copenhagen.
Ooh, I like
Man U. And that is why Man U going to come third.
I think
because they suspect.
I think Galatasaray are going to be too confident and get during Copenhagen. Right?
Well, you and I have the same theory, but about opposite sides.
Yeah, exactly.
I have that same theory about Man U. So, interesting. We'll see how that one plays out.
All right, Group B. Sevilla. This is a good group.
Like, this is a big group too. I like this group. Fire group.
Yeah, this group fun. Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and Lens. Lens, second in Liga last year. Shocked everybody, but they lost quite a few players over the summer. The best player, Seko Fofana, went to Al Nassr. So we see what happens with them. Sevilla just got their first win of the season, but Ramos is there now, and that man is going to he's going to drag them much further. Arsenal, I think, class of the group. PSV, fun team, tricky team. So Serginho Dest, however, playing decent for them. I think Arsenal's winning the group, but boy, I ain't gonna lie. To me, huge toss-up. Like, I actually want to hear what you have to say because I actually could see any of these teams finishing second.
I like Lens. I do. Like, I think that they are going to take points from Arsenal. I think they're going to take points from Sevilla.
Okay.
But I do not think that they come in the group. I think they're going to come third. You said it. Sevilla have that dog in them now.
They know how to win in Europe.
They're already a big side. Yeah, they're already a big side, but now they have an experienced dog in the squad too. Literally probably there to drag them in Europe. And he's gonna do that.
Talk about leadership, just real quick, sorry. Talk about leadership.
Boom.
They have Jesus Navas and Sergio Ramos, right? And they
Yeah.
grew up in the academy together.
You know what I want to say before I close off this group?
PSV winning it.
No, you know who is actually a big player in Champions League? Kai Havertz.
Oh my.
That's not a biased take.
That's not a lie. Good
That's
point.
not a biased take. For Chelsea, when Chelsea was playing garbage, Kai Havertz played massive for them, playing number 9 against Real Madrid, and he holding up the ball, connected. That is a big European player. Do not get twisted.
His
And I'm
game
not
fits
saying that
Europe.
off of that finals goal. I'm not saying it
No,
off of
you're
that.
right.
It's consistent. Look over Kai Havertz for Arsenal as well.
Okay.
Arsenal winning, Sevilla second is what I have.
Okay. Honestly, I do think Sevilla will probably pull through and come second, but if they come third, Europa League yet again. By the way, it's stopping after this season. After this season, there's no more lockdowns in Europa League. All right, Group C: Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. Bill, let me hear your thoughts in Group C.
Well, I think Real Madrid is going to have a tough time with not having a clean sweep of wins in these rounds. In the last few years, I would have said Napoli would give them a hard time. Napoli is a sure second. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think they're actually struggling a bit with their identity. Teams have been able to see them as a unit because they haven't changed much for a long time. They have one of the best strikers in the world, Osimhen. They have some of the best players in the world, to be honest. But in the Serie A, at least, I find teams have been playing them a lot better, giving them a lot more trouble. I don't know if that's going to translate into Champions League. So I still have them coming second, but I don't think they're going to give Real Madrid any issues. Real Madrid is going to run through this group. And that's my take. Okay. As the non-resident Real family page, I would love to hear what you have to say, my friend.
Okay, so on Napoli, real quick, Kvara. I don't want to say he's been found out. I don't believe that at all. But he's not. he's been. It's not been the same the past few months. Obviously, he had the summer, whatever. But even before the summer, he kind of slowed down his production. It's just not at the same level. My thing with Real Madrid is Real Madrid have won 5 for 5 in La Liga so far, but none of these games have been good or comfortable for them. We become like Real Madrid this year, are a team that are going to get it done until Vinicius comes back, which is just such a big part of what we do. And he won't be back for probably the first 2 matches. So I think we'll get it done. I just don't see anything very convincing. We'll say this about Union Berlin because I watch a lot of Bundesliga. They have one of the coolest stories in football. They got promoted they're like a road to glory, like in FIFA. They got promoted from like the bottom to the top with no money. They've all done it themselves. They have no funding. Their fans put together the money to build the stadium. They are like the team of teams.
Love that.
Yeah, they really want the team of teams. So they will be, and they play really tough. They're big on set pieces. Like set pieces is how they score. They are annoying on set pieces. They really like kind of, a couple of years ago, remember, what's his name? Rory Delap at Derby or Swansea. I think he was doing the throws.
Yeah.
Right? And it was kind of
like...
It
was at Stoke.
Stoke, my bad. Yeah. And he kind of broke the game because it was like he was doing something that teams didn't plan for. I actually see Union Berlin like that with set pieces. So I do think they will... There's the kind of team, talking about Napoli, they're the kind of team that could get one of those wins against Napoli. Union Berlin just know how to frustrate teams better than them and more talented than them and get results. And Napoli look ripe for the picking. So, you know what? This is my hot take. One. I think Napoli are gonna finish. They're gonna finish third.
I do think Napoli is gonna come second still. I'm not going back on it. I think Union Berlin is gonna come fourth in the group.
Oh.
Because Braga, I'm not gonna lie and say that I watch plenty of football from Braga, but I watch highlights, and from what I have read, they're one of the most exciting teams in the league. They're a very quick side. They've always churned out exciting wingers. Yeah. So over the last few years, they've been like extremely pacey teams. So teams have difficulty managing and dealing with that. I could see Napoli struggling with that. Union Berlin for sure as well. So I don't know. I have Braga. If I was to give a hot take, I would say Braga might surprise teams, but I still have Napoli coming second.
I'm glad they gave Braga their props. I know for sure, like I said, I didn't really watch Braga that much, but I know last year in Portugal, they actually really surprised, well, obviously in the Champions League, but the whole season, Group D, with your boys, Inter Milan, Benfica, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. This is another fun group. To
This
me,
group is actually real excitement.
this group is very exciting.
This group is
Benfica
real
are
action.
very good.
They basically have God, Angel Di Maria playing like God right now.
That man, one of the most underrated players of the last generation, probably.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Who you have? That's what I want to know. Who you have?
Yeah, I have entire Benfica. I just think so. Benfica, they'll be able to focus on the Champions League more heavily than the other teams in the group, right? Real Sociedad are going to be locked into some kind of battle for fourth place in La Liga. They now Sociedad bolstered their squad really well the last few weeks of the window. They signed Tierney and Zakarian, which is two big signings. So I do think Sociedad have way more depth. Kubo's been ridiculous. So they have way more depth. Yeah, they have way more depth than before. I think Benfica are going to be able to just hyper focus on the Champions League. So I think they're going to get the best of their team every midweek. Inter going to be caught between Serie A and the Champions League. Salzburg, obviously, a really exciting team and the best team in Austria. But I don't think their qualities are the same level as the other three. So I just feel Inter and Benfica. I think Benfica could win the group. They could be the kind of group where Benfica has like 12 points and Inter like right behind. And I think Sociedad finished third. But I think Benfica, I think their team is good enough, and because they were able to not get stretched too thin in Portugal, I think they'll have a good performance in the Champions League this year.
I mean, I think Inter Milan. Is this a hot take? It shouldn't be. I think Inter Milan is a top 5 team in the world right now, following last season what they did in during the summer and what we're seeing from them in the Serie A right now. My expectation is that, and this is an expectation as a football fan, you need to manage these. My expectation is that the squad was built around winning the Serie A and challenging in the Champions League again.
Right.
I don't expect them to have any jet lag from last year's Champions League. But in the summer, they brought in Cuadrado, they brought in Benjamin Pavard, who slipped on.
Transfer, yeah.
Yeah, that is depth there, because as Dumfries can play, Cuadrado is in, they have Pavard who could play a right back or centre back, they have Marcus Thuram who they brought in.
Yeah.
They have depth. That's what my whole point is. They have depth. I think they win in the group. I'm aligned with you. Benfica, I think, will win it. Will come second. I love Sociedad. I want to see Sociedad come in second, but I think Benfica have it, but I love that Kubo man. I love that squad.
I don't know how much you saw of Kubo versus Real Madrid last
year. But
oh my God. And Kubo's been insane. I watch Sociedad almost every week. I'll tell you this. My issue for them is they really don't have a consistent centre forward, which is why Kubo's have to do so much. They don't even have bad centre forwards. Like Andre Silva should be solid enough, right? Umar Sadiq is okay, but none of these, they don't really have somebody you can trust to get goals consistently. And I think that's where Benfica will end up kind of outlasting them. I think they could beat Benfica in Spain. I don't think they'll beat them in Portugal. And I think Sociedad, I can see drawing against Salzburg, whereas Benfica will kind of make sure they beat them. But another group, honestly, where I have Benfica coming first, but wouldn't be shocked if Inter take it over.
All right. Now we're moving into Group E. Now, you may be thinking, who's in Group E? I'm going to tell you. We have Lazio, Atletico Madrid, Feyenoord, Celtic. It's actually quite exciting because I think that we have 4, they're not evenly matched, but teams who are unpredictable, all 4.
Yes.
I like Celtic. Brendan Rodgers has always been like a coach who, ever since that, I think it was called Inside Liverpool, they had this series. You ever saw that?
Yeah,
when Brendan Rodgers was the coach. That series actually really chained me up because I thought Brendan Rodgers is a real good coach. And Adam Lallana is coming to juke and play all the football. And that did not happen.
He playing some football with Brighton though.
Yeah. He
looked good this weekend.
He looked like he rough up Man U this weekend. I like Lazio always. They are one of those sleeper teams who you don't pay attention to. I mean, I watch a lot of Serie A, so I know the ability and the talent that they have. But like on the European stage, nobody really pays attention to them, but they know they're very good.
I'll
They had a rough
tell
start
you,
to the season, but they have had a hard run of games. They lost to Juventus 3-1. What I'm basing this on is that Napoli game. They beat Napoli 2-1 away, and they were really fantastic in that game. Like I said, well organized. Luis Alberto dominated the midfield in that game. But like I said, they've had a rough start to the season, but I do think that they're still a very exciting team who would give all of these teams a lot of trouble. Then, of course, we have Atletico Madrid, who is, as always, one of the most formidable teams in the world, especially on the European stage. Well coached, hardworking. They're literally, the players are molded into what Diego Simeone was as a player. So the team is literally a reflection of him, and is one of the worst teams to play, in my opinion, as an opponent.
very
So they're going to be obviously top tier as always. I have Atletico winning the group. Celtic coming second.
Okay.
Brendan.
All right, so let me say this. Atletico are a weird team in Europe. Once they get out the group, they can go anywhere. Like they can get to the semi-finals or the final. But last couple of seasons, they've been having these weird European results. Like last year, they got knocked out in the group stage, I believe. And they have this tendency because they don't, this year they've actually been scoring a lot in Spain. But they got blown out on the weekend by Valencia, which is insane. Valencia is not a good team and they beat them 3-0. But Atletico definitely dealing with like the post-international break, lethargy, coming out, not playing well. So Lazio, first game, they're going to really kind of shock them back to life. So we'll see how they perform. They should win this group. Honestly, comfortably. If you really, really look at the team, there's no, even if it's a close result, they should be winning, but they tend to be inconsistent in Europe. So I do see them winning the group, but I think it's going to be very tight. I think Lazio is going to be right there with them.
The group of death. Group F4F. This is Bacchanal. AC Milan, Newcastle United, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, and Borussia Dortmund. Please kick us off. Terence, who do you think is making it out of this insane group? I think that before Terence says it, I think that we're going to have 4 different teams here. Between the two of us coming out.
Okay.
Let me
hear. I give a first weird hot take looking at this group. Outside of Newcastle, and maybe to a degree Newcastle, every team here was better last season. PSG were a better team last season. Dortmund were a better team with Bellingham. Milan were a better team with Tonali.
Do you think so?
I think every team here, except for Newcastle, was actually a better team 3-4 months ago. PSG.
You mean based on personnel, not performance?
Yeah, but like even then, for me, right? PSG have been not good to start the year. AC Milan, not good to start the year. Dortmund, I feel like they're missing. There's a Jude hole in that team, right? They're just not the same force, And then Newcastle, is figuring things out. Different year for them now. Expectations are higher. But in a way, because they're not at their, firing like they were last year, I feel it makes the group even more open because it genuinely feels like all 4 teams on the same level. I think Mbappe is just going to make sure PSG qualifies from this group. I think he's too big a force, too good a player, and in games where it's tight, he's so far above every other player in this group, right? He's the class player in this group by a margin, and especially the position he's playing. He's the one who he can affect the game in another level compared to him being like a holding midfielder or something. So I just feel like when push comes to shove, in some of these games, he's going to be able to be the difference that these other teams, to me, don't have at the same level. So I think, I don't know if they're going to win the group, but I think PSG is getting through from this group. Honestly, PSG and Milan. Newcastle 3rd, Dortmund 4th.
Interesting. I have PSG and Kylian Mbappe lighting it up and winning the Europa League this year. That's what I have.
You catch me there. I like that.
I have them winning the Europa soundly because they ain't getting out of this group.
Woo! Okay.
Because my boys, Newcastle, going to walk the walk and talk the talk.
They win in the
right?
group?
They come in second. I have them come in second.
Okay, all right.
I have AC winning the group.
Okay.
Even though my prediction for the game tomorrow is that Newcastle is beating AC, this group is going to be all over the place. It's going to be very close. Everybody have a 9 points, 8 points, and 10 points. I have AC winning the group, Newcastle coming second, PSG third. I really want to say that Newcastle winning the group. Like I really want to say it, but that's a ridiculous thing to say. And I don't want to be like, oh, Prem bias over here. But
Newcastle need another year for me.
I know, boy. I think that I so rate Newcastle's midfield. You don't even understand.
Nah, I mean, yeah.
I think they have the best midfield in this group for sure. I think they have the best midfield.
Yeah.
I think they have a top 5 midfield in the world.
I think they have a potential top 5 midfield in the world.
My problem with them is their back line. Right? And I think Kylian will run them ragged. I think that the front three from AC Milan could run them ragged. But I do love them now. Like, I think that's why I don't think they win in the group. My problem with AC Milan is their depth. I don't know if, their front three to me is able to carry them through games. They need Giroud. They need OG to play all the games because he will bully these teams. He's the most natural goal scorer in the group.
I think it's one of the more straightforward groups.
Yeah. You have young boys going through too, right?
Top of the
Group G, young boys, RB Leipzig, holders, defending champions, Manchester City, and the one and only Cervena Zvezda.
Red Star Belgrade, yes.
Okay, straightforward. I'm going to give my picks. I think Man City is going to win the group. Hot take. Manchester City is going to win the group. Erling Haaland's going to top score in the group. Cool. Whatever. Let's move on with our lives. Leipzig. Xavi. Simons.
My God, I love him.
A general football player.
Yeah, I love
him. I'm so happy he went to a team like this that he could showcase himself. Perfect. And getting good visibility, what a player. He's gonna light up the Champions League. He's already lighted up the Bundesliga. They're third in the league, I believe. He is just a champion. He gonna end up going City next year after he light them up in the group stage.
I think, because you see, I think for sure City, Leipzig, class of the group, this will be, I think they will end up. I can see Leipzig even getting one of them surprise results against City. But I actually could see those games are going to be open and fun. The City Leipzig games are going to be just really fun to watch. Benjamin Sesko, who they signed, is like an ex-Haaland in terms of just being, young, aggressive centre forward. Daniel Mo, Xavi Simons, Openda, who they got from Lens. They have a really fun, exciting team. So I think Leipzig will outclass Red Star and Young Boys. I don't think they'll get, those teams will be somewhat competitive, but I don't think it's going to be close in the end. I think City and Leipzig will dominate this group.
Group H. We get into the last group now, the Champions League. We have the one and only, the fans' favorite, FC Barcelona. We have Royal Antwerp. Did I pronounce that correctly? Antwerp? What do you think? You think I said that correctly?
You did.
I don't want to disrespect any fans out there who may see it. Nobody watches this. Definitely not the Royal Antwerp fans. We have Shakhtar Donetsk and we have Porto. Two very well-known teams. If you watch Champions League football, you always have to compete against them. Don't you find that they always end up playing against your team? Every year I feel like they're in a group with my team.
3 years
Exactly. You always feel like, oh my God, I have to play Shakhtar Donetsk again.
Inter Real and Shakhtar Donetsk are just
always in a group together.
Always playing each other. For me, Barca and Porto, I think Shakhtar are going to struggle not being able to play at home. They're playing all their games in Poland because of everything with the war and everything. And to actually a real fun story. Their captain, I'm pretty sure, is Toby Alderweireld, who went back there last season and scored the winning goal in the 95th minute for them to win the Belgian league. It was one of the all-time amazing stories.
Yeah, stories of the year.
My bigger kind of deep hot take is that this is the year that Barcelona actually comes back to life in Europe after about 3-4 years of just garbage.
Did you
This weekend,
see? Did you see João Felix?
This past
Barca kit this weekend.
Listen. João Cancelo and João Felix. Talent-wise,
João squared.
They were in inconsistent situations, whatever, last couple of years. Cancelo is, if he wants to be, the best right back in the world to me. But yeah, Barcelona to me, they've been doing with no money. They've been constructing a good team, making deals, making it work. They now have a team to me. They had a team that could do stuff in Spain before because their play style really fits well in La Liga. So even when their players are not there, they know how to win in La Liga. I think now you're going to see them learn to win again in Europe. And I do think last year they had a real tough group. And even though they were a little unlucky last year, I think they played Bayern when they had like 5-6 players injured, like the whole back line. This year they have more depth. I think João Felix and they have a lot of attacking players. They have Rafinha, Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, João Felix, they have Lamal, who's insane. I think they have the depth now to handle 2 tournaments. I think Barcelona are going to win the group, and I think they're actually going to be. They've not been irrelevant in Europe the past couple of years. I think this year they're going to be relevant again.
How
then they
far
get to
they
the
good?
quarterfinals at least.
Quarters?
At least.
Now, I have Barca winning the group too. I think this is disrespectful of me to say. I think this is a relatively straightforward group for them. I watched their game this weekend. I watched Lewandowski and João Felix together. I watched João Cancelo, as we said. I watched Frankie. Like, they look
They're a
complete.
little bit back.
They look a little too complete for me. Because I was enjoying them not being complete. I can't lie.
And it was fun times to me too. But if you get to that Barca squad, they don't really have a weakness anymore.
Remember they added Gundo too,
And
like
Gundo.
experience in Champions,
Yeah.
Champions League now. I think it's straightforward. The group is straightforward. Shakhtar Donetsk not playing at home is the key thing for me. Not just that, I feel like their team isn't as good as we would have seen in previous years. They do have Lassina Traore and things still, but again, not anything to brag about. Porto still one of the best Portuguese teams. They have Pepe as their captain.
That man is internal. He's still playing really well.
He must be like 59 and looking the same and is still as annoying as he was when he was now breaking out on the scene. But yeah, straightforward group. I think that might be one of the more straightforward groups for me. Barca first, Porto coming second. I agree. I think Barca are going to be big in the Champions League. I think they're going all the way to the semis, potentially the finals.
If these
I
groups,
want and you know what?
Wait a minute.
I put down money right now. My Champions League winners this year are Bayern Munich. You heard it here first. Bayern Munich is winning the Champions League this year. My boy Harry Kane is fulfilling his prophecy of winning the Champions League, doing what I said he was going to do, go to another league, win the Champions League, win a couple of trophies, go back to England and break the all-time scoring record. Why not?
and you heard it here second. That's also my Champions League pick. Before we recorded today, I was thinking because I figured maybe at the end we'll pick who we think would win, right? Here's my gut
I am
feeling.
shocked.
I'm not even kidding. I don't think Real Madrid winning without a centre forward. I don't know. I don't see Madrid being able to score consistently enough. I think if Madrid had Benzema with this team, I think Jude and Benzema would have been like that. I think it would have been really devastating. I just don't see it, I'm being honest. I actually think City could probably win again, right? This is the most, I'll say this, Madrid won 3 in a row and I was very proud of being the only team being able to do that. The only team that I've seen them like, oh shit, they might do it too. I think City could double, and if they double, I know Pep, you're going to hyper focus on winning 3. So I could see City up there. But to me, I was kind of looking through the teams, and honestly, it was like, you know what? I think Bayern have it. Now, they are not happy with Thomas Tuchel at all in Bayern. By the way. They've not been that good. Like,
They
they've
haven't.
not been that good.
Really
And they're
inconsistent.
yeah, so we'll see. I think they're going to figure it out over time. I think the squad is good. I think Harry Kane is going to get better and better. And Harry Kane is going to give them what they lacked, last year for sure without Lewandowski. And I think he'll do a little bit better in bigger games than Lewandowski did for them at times. There it is. That's our Champions League preview. I'm excited, man. Honestly, so many fun games.
And so many fun groups.
Yeah.
It's so unpredictable. We don't know who's going to win any games. We don't know how any of the teams are going to look. this is what football is about. We're so excited to have Champions League back. Please comment and let us know who you think is going to win before the game starts to roll. So it's going to be as surprising when we see Bayern Munich lose the opening game after our predictions. So let's see how it goes. But we're excited, and I'm sure you are too.